Hey, before anything else, I just want to say you are doing an incredible job. You grew a human being. You brought a life into this world. And now, on top of everything, the sleepless nights, the feeding schedules, the emotional roller coaster, there's this quiet pressure whispering in the background. Why haven't you bounced back yet? And maybe you have tried. Maybe you have been eating less or trying to move more, but the weight just sits there. And you feel tired, and nothing seems to be working the way it used to. Here's what I want you to hear today. It is not your willpower. It is not your discipline. It is not that you're doing something wrong. It's your brain chemistry. Specifically, it's your dopamine. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what is happening inside your brain after having a baby, why it's making weight loss feel almost impossible, and most importantly, what you can gently do about it. No extreme diets, no brutal workout plans, just real science-backed steps that actually fit your life right now. So stay with me. This one is for you. Let us start by talking about what you're actually experiencing, because I want you to feel truly seen before we get into any science. You're probably running on broken sleep, maybe 3 or 4 hours at a stretch if you're lucky. You're eating whatever's fastest. Crackers, leftover baby food, a cold cup of tea you forgot about, whatever's within reach. You're not sitting down for meals. You're surviving. And here's the thing that nobody tells you enough. This is completely normal for where you are, but it's also quietly working against your body's ability to let go of weight. Most conversations about postpartum weight loss focus on calories and exercise, and while those things matter eventually, they completely miss the deeper root issue that's going on in your body and your brain right now. When you're sleep deprived, when you're stressed, when your days are unpredictable and your needs are constantly being put last, your brain is in a very specific survival state. And in that state, your body holds on to weight. It's not being difficult, it's being protective. Here's something important. After giving birth, your hormone levels go through a dramatic shift. Estrogen drops, progesterone drops, cortisol, your stress hormone, goes up, and dopamine, the brain chemical that drives motivation, pleasure, and reward-seeking behavior, becomes dysregulated. What does dopamine dysregulation feel like in real life? It feels like reaching for sugar at 2 in the morning, not because you're truly hungry, but because your brain is desperately searching for a hit of something that feels good. It feels like having zero motivation to cook a proper meal, even though you know you should. It feels like doom scrolling for an hour instead of sleeping because your brain can't wind down. It feels like craving high-fat, high-sugar foods intensely and feeling almost no satisfaction from healthier options. Does any of that sound familiar? That's not weakness. That's a brain that has had its reward system thrown completely off balance by the biggest physical and emotional event of your life. And here's the most important thing I want you to understand. Until you address the dopamine piece, all the dieting and calorie cutting in the world is going to feel like pushing a boulder uphill. But when you start to gently rebalance your dopamine, weight loss becomes something that feels more natural, less forced, less painful, more sustainable. Okay, let's talk about dopamine, but in a way that actually makes sense, not a textbook lecture, I promise. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical, but that's a little misleading. Dopamine is actually more about wanting than about feeling good. It's the chemical that drives you towards things. It creates the craving, the anticipation, the motivation to pursue a reward. When your dopamine system is working well, you feel motivated. You find pleasure in small things. You can make decisions without feeling overwhelmed. You naturally gravitate towards things that are genuinely good for you because those things register as rewarding in your brain. But when your dopamine system is dysregulated, which happens with chronic sleep deprivation, chronic stress, and irregular eating patterns, all of which you are living right now, a few things go wrong. First, your brain's sensitivity to dopamine drops. This means you need bigger and bigger hits of stimulation to feel any kind of pleasure or satisfaction. That's why the salad doesn't sound appealing, but the cookies do. It's why you feel flat and unmotivated even on a good day. Second, your brain starts seeking out the fastest, most intense dopamine sources it can find. Ultra-processed foods, things high in sugar, salt, and fat, are engineered to spike dopamine very quickly. Your brain learns to chase those foods because they deliver fast relief. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. Third, when dopamine is low and cortisol is high, which is exactly the combination that comes with postpartum stress and sleep deprivation, your body increases fat storage, particularly around the midsection. Your metabolism slows, your hunger hormones, specifically ghrelin and leptin, go out of sync. You feel hungrier than you actually are, and you feel less full after eating. So the cycle looks like this: stress and poor sleep equals dopamine drops, equals you crave fast reward foods, equals you eat those foods, equals brief dopamine spike, equals crash, equals more cravings, equals cortisol stays elevated, equals body holds fat, equals you feel frustrated, equals more stress. Around and around it goes. Now here's the hopeful part. Because this is a loop, you can enter it at multiple points and begin to shift it. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to start making small, consistent changes that give your dopamine system a chance to recalibrate. And the beautiful thing about dopamine is that it responds quite quickly to the right inputs. Within days to a few weeks of making even gentle changes, most people start to notice a real shift: more motivation, fewer cravings, better energy, and yes, weight beginning to move again. Let's talk about exactly how to do that. I want to frame this section in a very specific way. These are not rules. They're not a strict plan you have to follow perfectly. They're invitations, gentle nudges towards giving your brain what it actually needs to come back into balance. Pick the ones that feel most doable right now. Start there. That's enough. Solution 1. Protect your sleep, even in small pieces. I know, sleep feels completely outside your control right now, and I'm not going to tell you to get 8 hours because that would be deeply unhelpful. But here's what the research shows. Even small improvements in sleep quality have a measurable impact on dopamine receptor sensitivity. Even one additional 90-minute sleep cycle can begin to shift your hunger hormones back towards balance. So the goal is not perfect sleep. The goal is to protect whatever sleep you can. That means when someone offers to take the baby, you sleep. Not scroll, not clean, not catch up on messages. Sleep. That means a dark, cool room when you can manage it. That means putting your phone across the room at night because the blue light suppresses melatonin and keeps your dopamine system in a low, dysregulated state. Even small upgrades to sleep will start to shift everything else. Solution 2. Start your day with protein, not sugar. This one is gentle, practical, and incredibly powerful. When your first meal of the day is high in sugar or refined carbohydrates, toast, cereal, a muffin, even fruit juice, your blood sugar spikes and then crashes. That crash triggers a cortisol response, which drops your dopamine further and sets off cravings for the rest of the day. But when you start your day with protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a protein shake, even leftover chicken, your blood sugar stays stable, your dopamine precursors get replenished, and your brain has the raw material it needs to produce more dopamine naturally. You don't need a fancy breakfast. You need a protein-first breakfast. That's it. Even 10 to 15 grams of protein in your first meal makes a meaningful difference. Solution 3. Move your body for dopamine, not punishment.
Forget the idea of exercise as something you have to do to burn off what you ate. That mindset is exhausting, and it's also counterproductive because it activates your stress response rather than your reward response. Instead, think of movement as a dopamine recharge. Here's the science. Physical movement, even gentle movement, triggers a release of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. A 10-minute walk outside does this. Gentle stretching does this. Dancing around your kitchen with your baby does this. These small movement moments are essentially giving your brain a natural, healthy dopamine hit, one that actually improves receptor sensitivity over time, unlike ultra-processed food, which degrades it. You don't need a gym. You don't need an hour. You need 10 minutes of movement, ideally outside in natural light, because sunlight boosts dopamine directly through the eyes. Even 10 minutes of morning light exposure has been shown to improve dopamine regulation and help reset your body's internal clock. Start there. 10 minutes.
Outside if possible. That is your movement goal for right now. Solution 4. Reduce ultra-processed food. Gradually, not drastically. I am not asking you to overhaul your diet. I am asking you to be aware of something. Ultra-processed foods, the packaged snacks, the fast food, the sugary drinks, are designed to spike dopamine very quickly and very sharply. The problem is that these rapid spikes actually downregulate your dopamine receptors over time, meaning your brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine, which makes you need more of these foods to feel any satisfaction, which makes cravings stronger, which makes it harder to choose anything else. The gentle fix is not to go cold turkey. It is to slowly crowd these foods out with more whole options. Add a handful of nuts before you reach for the crackers. Have a piece of fruit alongside the biscuit. Add protein to the meal. These small additions begin to stabilize your blood sugar and slowly recalibrate your dopamine response, making whole foods feel genuinely satisfying again over time. Be patient with this one. It takes a few weeks, but most women are genuinely surprised by how much their cravings shift when they start. All right, let us bring all of this together into something clear and simple that you can actually start this week. Action step 1, the morning anchor. Every morning within the first hour of waking, do these 2 things. Eat something with at least 15 grams of protein and get 10 minutes of natural light on your face. This combination is one of the most powerful dopamine-regulating habits you can build, and it takes almost no time. Action step 2, the sleep priority pact. Make an agreement with yourself or with your partner, your mom, a friend, that at least once every 2 days you get an uninterrupted 90-minute sleep window. This is not a luxury. This is medicine for your brain chemistry. Name it, schedule it, and treat it as non-negotiable. Action step 3, the micro-movement habit. Set one reminder on your phone each day that simply says, 10 minutes, move. Walk around the block, stretch on the mat, put on a song and sway with your baby. Just move for 10 minutes. That's it. This alone will begin to shift your dopamine baseline within days. Action step 4, the one swap. Look at one ultra-processed food you reach for regularly, maybe the afternoon biscuits, maybe the sugary drink, and choose one whole food to pair with it or slowly replace it, not eliminate it dramatically. Just one small swap, repeated consistently. Your brain will begin to adjust. Action step 5, the self-compassion reset. This one is not optional, even though it might sound soft. Research shows that self-criticism and shame actively suppress dopamine and elevate cortisol. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I should be further along, or why can't I just get it together? Pause. Replace it with, I am in recovery. My body is doing its best. I am doing my best. This is not just positive thinking, it's neurologically protective. These 5 steps, done imperfectly and consistently, will begin to shift your dopamine system. And when your dopamine system starts to rebalance, you'll notice cravings ease, energy improves, motivation returns, and your body, feeling safe for the first time in a long time, begins to let go of the weight it has been holding on to. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are a woman whose body and brain went through something extraordinary, and they need time, gentleness, and the right support to come back into balance. This is that support, and you showed up for it today, which means you're already on your way. If this video helped you feel even a little bit more understood, a little bit more hopeful, please give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach other moms who need to hear this. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because we have a lot more to talk about when it comes to gentle, realistic recovery for postpartum health. You've got this, and I'll see you in the next one.